Man, there's nothing better than a Monday night win and Victory Tuesday.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Let's do this, everybody. It's a Tuesday, October the 21st. Matt Dery with you, Locked On Lions, Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Heading into a Wednesday, October the 22nd, and a bye week for the Lions as they get ready to take on the Minnesota Vikings next Sunday, November 2nd. Until then, a week off, time to heal. What's good, everybody? Thanks for making us your first listen. Checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Welcome in. We've been with you now 10 seasons doing Locked On Lions. This is your spot for great guests, great opinions, Lions coverage daily, including after games on weekends. We had a show last night following the Monday night win. We got Justin Rogers from the Detroit Football Network tomorrow on this very podcast. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Follow us, please. Locked On Lions, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We are everywhere when it comes to coverage and on social media. Lions win last night 24-9 over the Bucs. We're going to get you the PFF grades. Best and worst performances from the Lions in last night's win. Yes, I will address the Jameson Williams Instagram posts from 5 in the morning. Cryptic messaging from J-Mo following a game in which he didn't get a target. The one target he got was offensive pass interference. And it was a ticky-tack call. So it goes in the books basically as no targets. We'll get into that. This defense is playing lights out right now. Our crack research staff has got some stats for you as far as where this team is 7 games in. But a lot to get into today, a lot to be excited about. Shout out to our everydayers who are out there that watch the podcast on our YouTube channel or are listening daily, wherever, Apple, Spotify. Appreciate our everyday listeners. If you want to be our call of the day, we'll do one of those coming up later on in the week. Please leave us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/Dery podcast page. Keep it about a minute, and we'll play the best one here on Locked On Lions. But Detroit feeling good. 5-2. The division's tough. We know about Green Bay and how well they're playing right now, despite squeaking past the Arizona Cardinals last week. The Bears have won 4 in a row. Touchdown Bears. They've won 4 straight. Oh, Ben Johnson's talking some smack in the locker room after the game in their win over the Saints. Oh, the Dennis Allen, they didn't want him in New Orleans. Okay, Ben, give me a break. Dennis Allen sucked as head coach of the Saints, and he was there 2 years too long. Don't give me this crap. But they're playing well. They've won 4 in a row. And, of course, the Vikings are always solid. A tough loss for them this weekend against Philly. But they host the Chargers coming up on Thursday and then come to Ford Field for November the 2nd. But last night, there were so many things that I tried to get to last night on the late night show, but maybe didn't get into. But bottom line is this. A couple things I noticed after the game that tell you all you need to know about this franchise. All right. Number one, Amik Robertson came to the podium last night, and it was a podium game for Amik. He was fantastic and spoke to the media. And he was wearing a number 32 black Brian Branch Lions jersey. And it struck me because these guys, whether Brian Branch was right or wrong and should have not done what he did and all that stuff, the players still support each other. The players have each other's backs. Some guys were in Branch jerseys, including Amik, and he went on up on that podium to answer questions last night, and he had his teammates back. And in this day and age of divisiveness, dividedness, whatever you want to call it, whether it's in sports, life, politics, every day, it's great to see a team that loves each other, and it's genuine. It's genuine. Today, Woody Johnson, the owner of the Jets, took a little pot shot at Justin Fields. Now, look, I've never been a Hall of Fields fan. For those of you that have been following this show for a long time, I made fun of the Bears for years for telling us that they thought Justin Fields was a starting quarterback. And I loved him in college, but I always thought he would not be a great pro, more of a good college quarterback. And the Jets owner, Woody Johnson, was asked about Aaron Glenn today, and he's like, oh, yeah, I think he's turning it around, except it's tough to do when your quarterback, the rating is so bad. It's like, geez. All right. Dan Campbell would never, ever throw a player under the bus. And it's that kind of culture. It's that kind of togetherness. And we saw it last night from Amik Robertson after the game. Second thing I loved about last night's post game, the Lions posted the video. It's all over social media. Go find it. Dan Campbell handed out some game balls, and he gave a game ball to Jahmyr Gibbs. And Gibbs immediately went over and handed it to Penei Sewell, almost like a thank you. Like, no, you take it. Because of the job Penei Sewell did last night playing right tackle and, of course, blocking and opening up holes for Gibbs, who had over 200 yards of total offense and, of course, the 78-yard touchdown run. Handed a game ball, wanted to give it to his teammate. Derek Barnes got a game ball too, which was awesome. Played a great game last night on defense, got a sack, a couple of TFLs. And Derek Barnes gave his game ball to Kelvin Sheppard. Now, Sewell gave the ball back to Gibbs. Barnes gave the ball to his defensive coordinator, and Shep gave it back to Derek. But regardless, it's that unselfishness. It's what that locker room is about, where guys are willing to get game balls, get accolades, and try to pass them off on somebody else and not just take them themselves. And I love that. I absolutely love it. It is the beauty of sports. I was watching the Blue Jays celebration last night as they beat the Mariners in Game 7, the ALCS, the Canadian Guardians, as I like to call them. They got all my boys, Shane Bieber, Andres Jimenez, Big Earn. But like, you watch the camaraderie that these teams have, and there's something to see. You got to have talent. All right, look, the Lions have a lot of talent. All right, they've got a lot of really good players. Jahmyr Gibbs is as good a running back as there is in the game. Amon-Ra is as good a wide receiver as there is in the game. Jared Goff is a top 5-10 quarterback. Aiden Hutchinson's one of the best edge rushers in the league. Lions have 2 of the top 5 safeties in the league. All right, you have to have talent, but you got to have guys that are pulling the rope together. And there's a reason why when Brad Holmes passes on a free agent, or maybe doesn't draft a kid that we all think should be the guy at 27 or 25 or 5 or 58 or whatever it is. Why did the Lions take him? Oh, my God. Mike Green, oh, my God, the best edge rusher in college football last year. Why did the Lions pass on him? Not once, but twice. Because if it's not a fit for that locker room and that roster, it's not going to work. And man, getting Aleem McNeil back, what a difference he made. And we'll let you know how he did on the PFF grades, but he just kept pushing and pushing that line back into Baker Mayfield's face all night, to the point where Mayfield was as uncomfortable as we've seen him this season. And Baker's great. Don't get me wrong. He's having a big time year. But the addition of Aleem McNeil last night, even with all those guys out, and now the secondary being called the Legion of Whom. I don't know who it was on Reddit or Twitter that came up with that. My buddy Anthony Rosenblum from BDO. He's an everydayer. Anthony also texted me that during the game last night. Legion of Whom is awesome. It's fun. You got guys like Eric Hallett, Nick Whiteside, Arthur Mollett. You have all these guys, and many of you had never heard of them before. Thomas Harper. And they balled out last night. They held the Bucs to 9 times. They held them to 9 points. How about Whiteside? I mean, just PBU king last night. 3 of them. Such a great story. Great story. So excited about last night. The offense has some work to do. They're not 100% sharp and crisp the last 2 weeks. The O-line didn't have the greatest night. Blitz pickup from Jared Goff wasn't great. And yet this team is 5-2, playing a very rough schedule, and just knocked off the team that had the best record in the NFC coming into the weekend. All right, coming up next, more on the defense. I got some numbers for you that are just mind-blowing. Not the mind-blowing performance of Ms. Raquel Welch from Kramer, all you Seinfeld fans out there. But mind-blowing in terms of, with all of the injuries, how this defense has survived and played this well, this quickly. We'll do that coming up next here on a Tuesday, Locked on Lions. If I could find the video, it is here, right here.
I'm Cody Rourke from Locked On Broncos, and this episode is brought to you by Peloton. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. This is Peloton's most advanced equipment yet, giving you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or you're cross-training with your favorite instructors like Alex Toussaint. It's training reimagined to make your workout more personal. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with features that help you plan, stay motivated, and hit peak performance. You can let yourself run, lift, flex, and go while Peloton handles all the rest. Plus, Peloton IQ provides real-time strength coaching, tracking your progress and suggesting weights that challenge you so you can get stronger. Plus, the new movement tracking camera, it counts your reps and corrects your form in real time, making sure every rep is safer and smarter. So let yourself run, lift, flex, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus at onepeloton.com.
Always got to love those Alex Toussaint references. All right, Locked On Lions also brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Looking to wager on some NFL games? I told you Thursday Night Football coming up in a couple of nights. Vikings and the Chargers. Man, the Chargers got taken behind the woodshed by my son's Colts. You can bet on the games at FanDuel. They have an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. What do you love about FanDuel? It is simple. Sitting with some folks last night at the game, they were talking about parlays. All right, I got this one, I got that one. Able to put some teams together and all that stuff. It's a lot of fun on FanDuel. What about player props and live lines during games? Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Back on a Tuesday edition of Locked on Lions. PFF grades coming up momentarily. Our crack research staff was texting. I'm going to break out the readers for this one, not DJ Reader, the reading glasses. I'm getting old at 52. Crack research staff sent me some text today in terms of the defense and what's going on through 7 weeks. And this is a credit to Kelvin Sheppard, the defensive staff, all the coaches. They've done a fantastic job. Lions defense through 7 games, 23 sacks, tied for third in the NFL. Third. Interceptions, 7, tied for 6th in the NFL. Passes defended, 42, second in the league. Fumble recoveries, 4, tied for 6th. Forced fumbles, number 1 in the league with 9. Great punch out by Amik Robertson last night. Takeaways, 11, tied for third. All right, 42 passes defended. And by the way, the 23 sacks through 7 weeks are the most by the team since 2018. For the first time since fumble data became available in 1999. Lions have produced 2 sacks and a forced fumble in 6 straight games. That's unreal. And last night, this is from the Pat McAfee show, the Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield last night dropped back to pass on 83% of the plays, highest ever in a game in his Bucs career. What does that tell you? The Buccaneers came into the game with a game plan of, we are going to throw the football and we are going to expose that Lions secondary. But their game plan was bad. That was a poor game plan by Todd Bowles and company. because the Lions were ready for it. The Lions knew it was coming. You established the run on the road to open up a play action passing game. They couldn't do it. And also, Kate Otten, their tight end, and a couple of their backs spent a lot of the game last night chipping Aiden Hutchinson and double teaming him. So we're talking about the secondary, how well they played, and they did. All right, I'm not taking anything away from the Legion of Whom, okay? But there weren't a lot of guys out on routes. And then you take Mike Evans out of the game with a broken clavicle and the concussion, and Emeka Egbuka not at 100%. And Whiteside did a good job on him. I think 4 targets, no catches when Whiteside was guarding Emeka Egbuka, the rookie from Ohio State. But I didn't get what the Bucs were doing with all of those passing attempts from Baker. And I know they were behind, but they could still run the ball. They were only down 14-9 in the second half. That was a huge performance from Detroit's defense. But, man, passes defended, passes broken up, the sacks. We've talked about it for many years. When will the Lions have that number, that top 10 defense? When will it come? Remember Aaron Glenn's first year and Dan Campbell's first year in 2021. The Lions defense was atrocious. But their starting cornerbacks were like Bobby Price and Jerry Jacobs. The only guy left from that group is Alex Anzalone. They're playing well. Those are big time numbers for this team. All right, speaking of numbers, our friends at Pro Football Focus, what did they think of last night's effort by the Lions, 24-9 over the Bucs, and who did well and who did not do well? Let's do top 5 and bottom 5 Lions on offense. We start with the bottom 5 offensive players last night. I'll say a minimum of 9 snaps because I'll include Tesla in there. But Sam Laporta was bottom 5, 53.8. Isaac Tesla, 53. David Montgomery, 30 snaps, 50.6. Got to get him going again. It's been a couple weeks now that he has not really performed. Jameson Williams, second to last, 46.6 grade. And Jared Goff, last on offense, low grade, 37.4 for Jared Goff. Just didn't pick up the blitz well, wasn't seeing the field all that great. And then, of course, had that pretty bad interception, which didn't come back to haunt him, thank goodness. On offense, your top 5 Lions, no surprise, Tate Ratledge, 69.6. He played a pretty good game. Taylor Decker, 4th highest grade at a 71.7. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 77.1. Jahmyr Gibbs, big night, 218 total yards, big 78-yard touchdown run. His grade checked in at an 81.9. And once again, highest graded Lion on offense, not a surprise at all. The right tackle to the stars, the best player on the team, I would say. Penei Sewell, an 89.6, including a run blocking grade of 93.5. Those are your top 5 Lions on offense for their victory last night over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bottom 5 on defense last night, Aleem McNeil checking in at a 59.8. I don't get that grade at all and do not agree with it. I thought he'd be much higher and played a good game. Al-Qadim Muhammad, 59.6, was the second lowest. Eric Hallett, 55.6. Of course, started at strong safety last night alongside Thomas Harper. Rock Yassin, 46.2. And Tyler Lacey, who did have a sack and a half, finished with a 41.7. As far as the top Lions who were graded on defense, 5th highest grade goes to DJ Reader, 81.1. Aiden Hutchinson checking in with an 83.3 grade. Jack Campbell, middle linebacker. I gave him a game ball last night, and so did Dan Campbell. 83.4. He's just a beast. He's everywhere. Nick Whiteside, of course, played last night a corner and played 40 snaps. 83.9 grade for the youngster Nick Whiteside. What a story he is out of Saginaw Valley State. Former Washington Commander, 83.9 grade. Good for him. And Tyrus Wheat, had the highest grade. 94.7 was his score last night. I said Lacey had the sacks last night. No, it was Tyrus Wheat who had a sack and a half last night. Good to see him getting in that backfield. But those are your top 5 and bottom 5 Lions on offense and defense from last night's 24-9 win over the Bucs. That's 3 straight wins at home. That's 5 straight wins on Monday Night Football. And Detroit just keeps cruising along here. And now a good time for the bye week. Hopefully going to get Terrion Arnold back and Avonte Maddox and some of the defensive backs. We'll talk about that with Justin Rogers tomorrow, right here on a Wednesday. Locked On Lions from Detroit Football Network and DetroitFootball.net. All right, had to bring it up. My man Mike Vanderpool texted me this morning, one of our everydayers. He's like, Jameson Williams again on Instagram. I said, oh boy. So we will tell you what he posted, and we'll do that coming up next. I'm rooting for J-Mo to get back into it, man. Just look, the Lions are winning games, and he's run blocking. He's doing a great job in run blocking, but got to get him started here on the passing game. We'll discuss that next. And Locked On Lions brought to you by Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride with more IIHS Top Safety Pick Awards than anyone else. From footwork to breathwork, athletes sweat all the details. Mazda brings that same intention to how we craft every model. You can feel Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents to available Napa leather upholstery. You can make everyday drives feel like anything but. From smooth handling to intuitive controls. Like our players, we set every detail, or we sweat every detail, because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. All right, so as we've been talking about both last night and today, it was not the best night for Jameson Williams, despite the Lions getting the victory and improving to 5-2. J-Mo, Lions star wide receiver and guy that just got a brand new contract extension, was only targeted one time last night, and I was officially targeted at 0 because he was called for offensive pass interference on a little back shoulder throw down the right sideline where he went out of bounds. Questionable call because it wasn't like a shove. It looked like he had his hands on the defensive back and did kind of plant. But regardless, J-Mo has not had a good season. He has struggled to get going. The numbers are not there. The touches are not there. And a lot of fantasy owners are dropping him. So last night, late night, as this was reported by Bleacher Report, and John Macaroon had an article on Lions on All SI and everything else, J-Mo at around 5 a.m. on his Instagram at what is his Instagram? Big SG J-Mo posted 2 memes. One is of a guy looking like he's bored with his hands on his hand on his face, sitting there unhappy on a couch. It's a cartoon. And then he also posted the crying Jordan meme as well on his Instagram last night. Look, we know he's not having the greatest of years, and we know it's been a struggle for Jameson Williams so far this season. But what do we do about memes and and everything else from the Instagram at 5 a.m.? It could mean a lot of different things. All right. I'm not going to speculate. Maybe he was leaving town and has a delay at the airport. Maybe I have no idea what's going on. But the Kansas City game was really the one game where Jameson Williams performed. If you look at PFF this year, in the 7 games he's played in, an 84 grade against the Chiefs when he had 6 catches. And it was nice to see him as a part of the offense. Chicago game, same type of thing, a 74.8 grade. But, I mean, we talked about 46.6 grade yesterday. He's had 2 games in the 40s, 2 games in the 50s, 1 in the 60s. He just has not gotten a lot of opportunities. And I think one thing that the Lions are going to have to fix if they want to be a Super Bowl contender and they want to be a team that's going to be reckoned with come playoff time is they've got to get more vertical offensively. Last night, Jared Goff didn't have a ton of time to throw. All right. Bucks and Vita Vea and Diaby and some of these guys and the exotic blitzes that Todd Bowles puts out there made it difficult for Goff to set and throw. There were a couple of routes that I saw where J-Mo was open and Goff missed him or didn't see him. There was one in the first quarter where Goff rolled out to the right and ended up running for 6 yards. He had Jameson Williams streaking down the middle of the field and just missed him, just didn't see him. But no targets and no catches cannot happen. And this offense has got to find a way to at least take a couple of deep shots just to keep the defense honest. And I get it. And I was at the game last night. Bucs safeties, Antoine Winfield, they were playing deep. They were. Teams are aware of how fast J-Mo is. But you got to try. They just are not throwing the ball down the field at all. And hopefully when they get back from the bye, they clean some of this up. Because the blitz pickup last night wasn't the best. Goff's vision was not the best. It's a reason why he had his lowest grade he's had all year from PFF. And got to give him more opportunities down the field. Really have to. All right, tomorrow, Wednesday edition of Locked On Lions. On this, a bye week. Our man, Justin Rogers from Detroit Football Network is going to join us. I'm taking a little bye week trip. Jake Riepma, the host of the Locked On Lions Squad Show, is going to fill in for me on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. I will be back on Thursday for the crossover with Luke Braun from Locked On Vikings. I promise. I'm only gone 3 shows. Never had anybody fill in for me ever. Jake, it does a good job, and he'll be great. So that'll be next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Justin Rogers tomorrow. Thanks, everybody, for making us your first listen. Victory Tuesday is in the books here on Locked On Lions.